Ukrainian defenders have liberated territory near Novoselivka. The armed forces of Ukraine are also conducting sweeps to clear the enemy near Voronov, Sikhneve, Pidubne, Tovste, Novokatska, and Zeleny High. These successes of the defense forces in the Oleksandrivka sector were first reported by the General Staff. This is at the junction of three regions, Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporizhzhia. This information was also confirmed by deep state analysts. They add that, in total, the occupiers have lost at least 46 square kilometers of territory. At the same time, the enemy managed to advance on the approaches to Kostiantynivka. There, the Russians are increasing their control over the territory around the city and are also continuing to exert active pressure on the village of Rodinske, which is near Pokrovsk and Mirnograd. Analysts emphasize that Rodinske is an important stronghold for the possible further advance of Russian troops. In addition, the occupiers attempted attacks in other directions as well. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, our defenders repelled the largest number of enemy assaults in the Huliaipol, Lyman, Kostiantynivka, and Pokrovsk directions. A restless night and an equally uneasy day in certain cities of Russia. A few hours ago, explosions were heard in 3 districts of the city of Cheboksary at once. This is in Chuvashia, which is 1,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Despite footage showing thick smoke, the local mayor claimed that nothing had exploded. However, according to information from social media, the local airport cancelled its flights. Passengers were asked to leave the terminal. And at night it was loud in Volgograd and Yaroslavl. There, the Lukoil oil refinery and fuel storage sites were on fire. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the refinery in Volgograd ceased operations after a massive fire. In Yaroslavl, a station that pumps oil was damaged. There, 2 oil tanks caught fire at once with capacities of 50 and 20,000 cubic meters. And the Security Service of Ukraine reports that it struck an FSB electronic intelligence facility in the Krasnodar region, which the enemy used to guide missiles and drones toward Ukrainian territory. Special purpose bombers. In the very south of Ukraine, near the Black Sea coast, the crews of remotely piloted aircraft from the 122nd Territorial Defense Brigade contribute nightly to the common cause of destroying the occupiers, their hideouts, and military equipment in enemy rear areas. Currently, Ukrainian backfires search for and attack their targets mainly on the temporarily occupied Kinburn Peninsula, but they are able and willing to strike the enemy much deeper. A TSN film crew observed the work of the strike UAV platoon commander, known by the call sign Jasmine, and her combat crews. And during this segment, there will be a QR code on the screen. This fundraiser is specifically for strike and reconnaissance drones for the Unmanned Systems Battalion of the 122nd Territorial Defense Brigade. If possible, please support the defenders of Ukrainian Black Sea region in this way. Thank you.
I'm the mechanic responsible for the catapult, for the pressure, so that the aircraft can take off into the sky.
Every evening they spend long hours working their magic in the tall grass of the Ukrainian Black Sea region so that every night Ukrainian special purpose aircraft can take off flawlessly and without fail.
Command received. Aircraft powered up. Right. Left. Yes. Toward the enemy. Copy.
If there are no obstacles, our aircraft can fly up to 90 kilometers one way at most, and we even fly to Tendrivska Spit, to Pokrovka, to Tendrivska Spit.
You've definitely heard the phrase middle strike more than once or twice. Today, the crews of the 122nd Separate Territorial Defense Brigade will be directing their aircraft toward the Kinburn Spit, and these will be Ukrainian-developed backfires. When fully equipped, the aircraft weighs about 30 kilograms. The warhead makes up 2/3 of that.
While it uses a standardized type of munition, virtually every other component has undergone several minor modifications, specifically for this latest updated version of the system.
What is the mission for this munition today?
A shelter with personnel inside.
Sapper Bober, the driver who knows every path along the coast in the Mykolaiv region. Mechanic Doka. His job is to prepare the vehicle for launch.
Well, it's already the 3rd month since we've started working in the combat zone, destroying the enemy.
Fizruk and his partner, a pair of pilots. There must always be 2 of them. Why are you called Fizruk?
Because I'm Fizruk. I've been a PE teacher for 23 years. You need 2 pilots so that in an emergency, 1 pilot can keep watch while the other repairs something or assists the main pilot.
Altogether, they are the crew of the remotely piloted bomber Bekfaya of the Unmanned Systems Battalion of the 122nd Territorial Defense Brigade. Recently, Jasmine openly admits she has become the direct commander of this combat team of men.
We were an infantry battalion, and for more than a year, I was the commander of the reconnaissance platoon.
At the beginning of 2026, they retrained from reconnaissance to become hunters of Muscovites, occupiers' hideouts, their vehicles, and enemy military equipment. This aircraft, this munition, what can it do?
It can destroy infantry and lightly armored cover.
Currently, the crews of the 122nd mostly fly and operate in the direction of the Kinburn Peninsula.
Aircraft on the catapult, pressure, catapult 10. Go. The plane is in the sky.
That's one of our scouts flying, well, either ours or our allies, but that's our aircraft too.
So these are your two aircraft right now. One is just starting its mission, its task, and the other is returning above, right?
So,
depending on the combat situation, the obviousness of the exploration of targets and the activity of racists can work in more than a dozen starts per night. They are prepared or even receive ammunition from the target with special messages.
Kharkiv, it's a місто there was born. Odessa, where I live now. Kyiv has been hit very, very hard. My friend, he really helps us a lot when we need it. And sometimes we can thank him in this way because people are also involved, in our work to neutralize the enemy.
Usually each mission of their bomber lasts about an hour, depending on the distance to the target and weather conditions. And it's a flight in autonomous mode, almost autonomous, Faizuk adds.
Here I have the altitude it gains and the speed, so I can see whether it's following the mission or deviating from it. You have to monitor it throughout the entire flight, watching its every move.
From the instrument readings, while the plane is still in the sky, they can tell whether the bombing has taken place. But to see the result with their own eyes, they have to wait for the backfire to return from the mission and land. So this is actually intended for this short 15-second video segment, isn't that correct?
It's just confirmation of the work.
But it's worth it.
Exactly. Since they began their combat duty in the south of Mykolaiv region, Jasmine assures the lifespan of armed Russians on the Kinburn Spit has significantly decreased. Plane in the sky.
Hello. Good evening.
In almost 3 months that we've been hunting here on the Spit, we've had more than 200 sorties. We fly 5 to 7 sorties per night, and we've stirred up a bit of trouble on the Spit there. Just a little more, and I hope for Crimea.
Reporting from southern Mykolaiv region, Alexander Motorny, Alexander Shayan, and Serhiy Shportilo, TSN 1+1, United News Marathon.
Due to the Shahed drone attack, Romania is closing the Russian Federation's general consulate in Constanța, and the consul has been declared persona non grata. This is how Bucharest responded to the Russian shelling when, during a nighttime attack on Odessa region, one of the drones entered Romanian airspace, crashed into the 10th floor of a building in the border city of Galați, and exploded. A fire broke out in the apartment and on the roof. 2 people were injured. About 70 residents were evacuated from the building. The Romanian Ministry of Defense stated that it scrambled 2 F-16 fighter jets and a military helicopter to monitor the attack. However, they explained that they simply did not have time to shoot down the drone. They say their military had only 4 minutes, and there were also legal restrictions. For the same reason, the Gepard systems did not work. The country's president has already asked allies for additional means to counter drones. And the Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that they see grounds for invoking NATO's Article 4, which provides for consultations with allies. Local media also reported the discovery of another UAV in the area of the village of Besesti. The information has not yet been officially confirmed, but according to preliminary data, the UAV was not carrying explosives and had a wingspan of 3 meters. After the drone incident, Romania's Ministry of Foreign Affairs summoned the Russian ambassador. Leaders of EU and NATO countries also responded. Romania is a member of the alliance. Will they take concrete measures there, or will they limit themselves to statements? More on this from Radio Liberty correspondent Zoriana Stepanenko.
The president of Romania promises a proportional response to Russia. He has already instructed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to immediately present a set of possible measures. Some measures have already been taken. The Russian consulate general in Constanța is being closed. The consul general has been declared persona non grata. The Russian Foreign Ministry has threatened to issue its own response. The head of Romania, Nicu Șordan, has requested additional means from allies to combat drones and discussed this in particular with the NATO Secretary General.
We have bilateral agreements, including within NATO, with partners regarding the presence of equipment in Romania. Some of it has already arrived, while the rest is yet to come. And during the discussion with the NATO Secretary General, I emphasized the urgency. He fully agreed that this equipment must arrive in Romania as soon as possible.
Mark Rutte, after speaking with the Romanian leader, assured that the alliance will continue to improve its own defense against all threats, including drones that regularly trouble NATO's eastern flank. The Secretary General emphasized that Russia's war must end, and therefore, as Rutte noted, the allies will continue to support Ukraine.
I assured the President of NATO's absolute solidarity with Romania and expressed my condolences to those affected by the incident. I confirmed that NATO is ready to defend every inch of Allied territory. Russia's reckless behavior poses a danger to all of us. The consequences of their illegal aggressive war are not limited by borders.
European politicians condemn the new line that Russian aggression has crossed. These are in particular the words of the head of the European Commission. It is not the first time a Russian drone has entered NATO territory, but it is the first time it has damaged a residential apartment building and injured people in an alliance country. So both ministers and leaders of EU countries are drawing two conclusions: to strengthen their own defenses, but at the same time to increase pressure on Russia. Ursula von der Leyen announced the preparation of the 21st package of sanctions, since Putin will not stop unless he is stopped, wrote Lithuania's chief diplomat on social media. Kęstutis Budrys believes that Russia, which, by the way, has still not commented on the incident itself, continues to test NATO's borders in this way. The president of Moldova, which borders Romania, Maia Sandu, speaks about the need to stop the Russian threat. And the president of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, calls not to limit ourselves to collective condemnation of Russia's actions. The Italian Minister of Defense sees the incident as a dangerous escalation, while the head of Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs emphasizes that it is important to strengthen the protection of Ukrainian airspace, not only for Ukraine's sake, but also for its neighbors, and offers assistance to Romania.
The recent incursion of a Russian drone into Romanian airspace and its explosion in a residential area of Galați once again proved that Russian aggression poses a real threat to the Black Sea region and all of Europe. Ukraine firmly supports Romania. We are ready to work closely together to strengthen protection against such threats.
President Zelensky wished a speedy recovery to the victims and said he expects the new EU sanctions to be tougher. From Brussels, Zoriana Stepanenko, Marek Hajduk, Radio Liberty, especially for TSN 1+1 Marathon United News.
Volodymyr Zelensky had a conversation with the president of Romania after a Russian attack drone struck a residential building in the neighboring country. In his evening address, the head of our state said that he wished a speedy recovery to all those affected and also agreed with his Romanian counterpart on cooperation between military teams and other specialists to strengthen air defense. The Romanian leader confirmed this agreement on his page. In particular, he noted that both sides need to accelerate joint drone production as Ukraine's battlefield experience and manufacturing technology are strategic assets for the defense of the entire eastern shore. Zelensky also warned about Russia preparing a new massive attack on Ukraine. This information comes from intelligence, and according to the president, it is important that all our partners know what is happening and that Russia continues to rely on missiles and further warfare, not diplomatic steps.
We have intelligence information regarding Russia's preparations for a new massive strike. Please pay attention to air raid alerts. Take care of your lives. Our services are responsive and prepared. The Air Force and other defenders of the sky will be working around the clock as always. The topic of air defense and the ongoing need to help Ukraine protect its skies remains our key priority.